from the Miami International Airport. Today we are flying across the pond to London, to be exact, with a short layover at Lisbon.
For a change, our flight is delayed, so what better way to pass the time
than having a cold one while we wait. I was supposed to get a window seat, but the plane has this kind of gimmicky and fuzzy but way cool displays showing the view from the cockpit. It is almost as good as having a window. It is the first time I see this kind of setup and I like it. It is a good idea to stretch your legs on a long flight like this one. How? Well, by visiting the lavatory. So that's what I'm doing besides, well, you know, we get a pretty good dinner with a choice of fish and pasta and a decent breakfast. And even though it is the most uncomfortable flight I have ever been on, it goes by pretty quickly. In just under 7 hours, we are landing in Lisbon, Portugal. We are at Lisbon Airport, right here in Portugal. Another country to add to my list. Our connecting flight is delayed, again, due to a pilot's strike, but eventually they take us on this bus to a plane which is parked way back by the runway. And off we go again. We're leaving. This time I managed to get a window seat, and we get a spectacular view of Lisbon as the plane takes off. As the plane turns, it is almost like the pilot is giving us an aerial tour of the city on purpose. The bridge over the Tahoe River estuary does have a striking resemblance to the Golden Gate in San Francisco, and it was actually built by the same company that built the Bay Bridge in that same city. Let's go back, instant replay style, and see all this from my mom's camera point of view. She's sitting a few rows further back. Another seat arrangement screw up. We get fed one more time. It is almost too much food. And we finally land at London Heathrow Airport. We take a black cab to our Airbnb flat in Greenwich. Is that a game of cricket I hear in the background? After over an hour and more than £100 later, we arrive at our flat in Greenwich. The flat is actually quite nice. It's an Airbnb, and the kitchen has everything we need, even an espresso machine. Let me continue showing you around the flat. That's British for apartment, by the way. Now we go out into the neighborhood. Google says there's a supermarket nearby, but to be honest, I think we're lost. Hello everybody, I have arrived here. We have arrived here at London, and well, this is not the most attractive of places. Here we are looking for a supermarket. We were originally going to go to the British Museum, but we had a series of problems getting here, a strike by the airline pilots, etc. So we have arrived here too late to go to the British Museum today, but we'll go tomorrow or the day after. And I have no idea where we are. We're looking for a Tesco supermarket to buy some supplies.
We went to a Tesco and bought some supplies, and now we're going back to the apartment. And tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be able to see a lot more of the great landmarks this city has to offer.
Don't be misled by the unattractiveness of this little stretch of town here by the Deptford Creek and the railroad tracks. The neighborhood is actually quite lovely. We wish we had more time to explore it. Good morning from Greenwich. Let's head out to London. We walk a short distance towards the river to take the Clipper to the city center. Greenwich is actually really pretty. Here we stumble upon the Cutty Sark, one of the last sailing tea clippers ever to be built before they started using steam for locomotion, or whatever the naval term is. Here's our view from the pier. The tall pyramid is the Shard, the tallest building in the city, and I believe also in all of Western Europe. Right next to the pier, we see the Royal Naval College and the University of Greenwich.
I think our boat is coming.
Off we go, cruising along the Thames River. Here we see Britain's second tallest building at 1 Canada Square, as we pass by the Canary Wharf Business District. And out in the distance, we see the iconic Tower Bridge. I think this is really efficient of us, taking this clipper. It saves us time. Instead of taking a dedicated river cruise for tourists, we are seeing all the same sights from a mode of public transportation. Pretty cool. After we pass the Tower Bridge, the warship to the right is the HMS Belfast of Second World War prominence. Yep. As we start going under the Millennium Bridge, we also see the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral. It is such a stereotypical London weather day, overcast and grey. All we need is a little fog. Actually, I've learned that the famous London fog is actually a myth. It was caused by pollution from the coal mine chimneys in the 19th century, so it doesn't happen anymore. We approach Westminster, and it is time for us to get off the boat. We are getting on the London Eye, the giant Ferris wheel next to the Thames River. As we continue gaining altitude, we start enjoying great views of the city from this higher vantage point, the wheel rotating ever so slowly. It takes about half an hour to complete one whole revolution. We see Westminster down there, and let me zoom in on this double-decker bus. We'll see lots of them. We can also see Buckingham Palace, the square in front of it packed with tourists waiting for the changing of the guard ceremony. Our 30-minute ride on this 135-meter tall Coca-Cola commercial is coming to an end. The serene ride on the London Eye will set you back about 30 pounds, yeah, about a pound per minute. It does include a 5-minute long 4D movie. Whether it's worth it or not, I leave it entirely up to you. I think I would do it once, like today, on my first visit to London. Next time I'll spend that money on some fish and chips and the London Pride beer, for sure. Hello everybody, coming to you today from the very heart of London. We walk across the Westminster Bridge to the north bank of the river, along with the hundreds of other tourists in the area. Here we arrive at Westminster Abbey, the famous Gothic church here in London, and I really wanted to go inside, but the line is over an hour, and they don't even let you take pictures or video inside, so as much as I wanted to see it, forget about it. We will content ourselves contemplating its anticlimactic facade. We continue walking towards Parliament Square with its statue of Mahatma Gandhi. Also they have a statue of Churchill, and all the tourists are taking pictures. We wanted to continue exploring this area, but we are getting really hungry and a little tired of walking around, so we take an Uber. We are going to eat at a typical fish and chips place, a chippy, as it is also known colloquially. And the Rock and Soil place is one of the oldest in town. It's dating back to 1871, and nowadays it's apparently run by some Nepalese folks, but very good food and very friendly service. I recommend it. Since we are in the neighborhood, we walk down to the Covent Garden area. At the center of it all, there is this former fruit and vegetable market. Nowadays, this popular shopping district and restaurants, and it's a touristy site, let's admit it. We continue walking south until we reach the Strand, one of London's main arteries. The road actually dates back to the Roman times, and then it was also used in the Middle Ages. And these zigzagging white lines on London streets are there actually to alert drivers of possible pedestrians crossing the street in the area. Who would have thunk it? We continue towards Trafalgar Square. The area is also very lively and touristy, with street musicians and performers. Right here, in front of the National Portrait Gallery. The name of the square commemorates the Battle of Trafalgar of the Napoleonic War. At the center here we have Nelson's column. Now coming to you from Trafalgar Square right here in London, and as you can see behind me, the National Gallery, and we're gonna continue roaming the streets of this great city. Here also they usually hold many demonstrations and, most importantly, the New Year's celebrations. We decide to hop on the public transportation, so we go down to the underground to get something called an Oyster card. The Oyster card is a rechargeable card that you can use on the underground and also on the bus system. We take one of the double-decker buses going east on the Strand towards St. Paul's Cathedral. We are now riding in one of the classic double-decker buses. We have managed to get into one of the real old buses. We get off by St. Paul's Cathedral. Queen Anne's statue is right in front of it. We make an attempt to go inside, but it is almost £20 and they don't let you film inside either. And to be honest, it doesn't look all that impressive. Maybe I'm wrong. So we decide to keep going. We follow the crowds towards the Millennium Bridge, which is a modern pedestrian-only passage which opened on June of 2000, hence its name, Millennium. There you go. There's the juggler, pretty cool. They also have these people with these carts selling roasted nuts. It seems to be a thing. Here, I'm sure I was saying something profound and inspiring about the bridge, but unfortunately my microphone malfunctioned. Okay, let me try to overdub. Here's St. Paul's Cathedral behind me, and the Thames River, the walkie-talkie, the Shard. You get the idea. The bridge was very wobbly when it first opened, so they had to close it down for 2 more years to eliminate the wobble. It finally reopened in 2002. Here we also pass by Shakespeare's Globe. It's a replica of the 1599 Globe Theatre, which was built by the playing company to which Shakespeare belonged. We take another Uber, which, by the way, is an outstanding service everywhere we go, seriously. Taking a regular taxi is so 2012. We're going towards the Tower of London, which is not that far, but we want to waste no time. Besides, Mother is tired. The Tower of London is this historic castle on the north bank of the river, and it is a major tourist attraction here in London. It houses the crown jewels of England. Many prisoners, including Queen Anne Boleyn, entered through here, the Traitor's Gate. We have some refreshments, taking a quick break here, overlooking the Shard, which is where we intend to end our day today. While we are here, let's walk towards the Tower Bridge. Here we see the London City Hall, this funky looking building, on the other side of the river. And we arrive and go across the bridge. This iconic landmark is a bascule and suspension bridge, and it dates back to the late 19th century. It was an engineering marvel when it was completed. And more roasted nut carts. We take yet another Uber towards the Shard. In order to get to the building, we must go through the London Bridge station. And here we are. Now this place is expensive. It is £25 to get to the top. Really, £25. That is almost $40 US.
Hey everybody, I am coming to you from the Shard, the tallest building in Western Europe. And here we are, ending our day here in London.
To continue my rant about this place and the price, I think out of all the places we have visited here in London so far, this one is quite a ripoff. £25 for just standing around the top floor behind some somewhat dirty glass. Yes, the views are pretty impressive even on this somewhat grey and hazy day, but I don't think it's worth the $40. Sorry. We take the underground, or the tube, using our newly acquired Oyster card in order to get back to our apartment in Greenwich.
The next station is Bank.
At the Bank station, we switch to the DLR, or the Docklands Light Rail. It's a system of automated trains that goes to this further area where we're staying. As night falls, we approach our destination in East London. Tomorrow, we will continue exploring this great city. See you then! That's all, folks. Do remember to subscribe, and if you liked it, give me a thumbs up and share with your friends and comment below. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, so follow me there too if you will, and visit the blog at roadnomad.com. Join the mailing list. As always, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the road. I'm riding with my RV. Wherever I want to be, because I'm free in my RV. Yeah, I'm riding with my RV, wherever I want to be, because I'm free in my